My name is Mike. My salvation isn't dramatic like some people's. I had a gradual, God just intervened in my life, and I grew up in a Lutheran family. We knew God. We didn't really study the Bible that much. Didn't realize his evangelical purposes or that he wanted to save me or he wanted to be personal to me. But we attended church and everything, but it just wasn't as personal as I would like. And met my wife, and we started attending different churches, and we got closer to God and closer to God. What I found, though, was I still found I went back to my old ways. And so my wife and I have an ongoing joke that I had a salvation, but then I had God broke through on me at one point, and I went to a men's retreat one time. And right before I went to the men's retreat, my wife and I had a major argument, and it had to do with my lying to her. I lied to her a couple different times. And about the finances of the office, and she'd keep asking me how the office was doing, and I'd say, oh, it's doing fine, and it really wasn't doing fine, but I didn't have the guts to deal with what it would mean if I told her the truth. And so I would lie to her, and then finally all these bills started coming through, and people were calling, and so we had it out, and she was really upset, and she asked me, she goes, do you know what? And we went from an argument into, like just I needed God, more of God, and of course at the time I'm thinking, I don't need more God, I just, I need you to get my back and just let me have, I made a mistake. I said, I'm sorry, just, let it go. And she goes, do you understand what grace is? And I said, yeah, it's God's unmerited favor. And she's like, okay, that came from your head, okay? She goes, do you understand from your heart what God's unmerited favor is? I'm like, I can't win with this woman. I can't win. She's continually just, like, prodding, and I'll never have a good enough answer for her. So, so I went to a men's retreat. I started scheduled to go to a men's retreat that weekend. And so I went. And within the first session, I knew they said one of the things they were going to do is have an open mic time. And I had no idea, I don't think at the time what that would entail. I just knew that I needed to be at the open mic. And it was just to come clean and just to be real. And so I even asked the guy who was running the thing, I said, okay, I'm really, really scared, but I need to do this. So if I don't come up, if the open mic thing comes and goes, you have to call me up, because I need to be up there. Well, it turns out he goes, okay, we're ready for open mic time. And I just stood up there, and I just said, okay, I gotta go. And that morning, I had been weeping tremendously during worship time, realizing that I was extremely flawed and extremely icky, basically, and yucky, and just had a revelation of who I was outside of Christ's changing work in me. And so then I gave my testimony. I told these guys, I said, my wife and I had a fight, but it's about me. I said, I made a mess of everything. I've put my wife as my God in my life and try to follow her, and every day it's just like shifting sand, and I need to follow God, and I don't know how to do that, and I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I can't keep doing what I'm doing, so I have nothing left right now, so I have no place to go other than just trusting God to rebuild everything. And so I just stood up in front of these guys, cried, told them, that how flawed I was, and then I went to sit down, and one guy goes, I think we should just pray over Mike, And at that point, 40 guys laid hands on me. And I've never felt anything more powerful in my entire life, that God was in that. Some people say they felt God, and I felt the unity of men all coming together and laying hands on me and praying for my business, praying for my kids, praying for my wife, and praying for me. And that next morning, we were singing, I stand in awe of you, and I couldn't even stand. I was on my feet, and I was crying. But I wasn't crying this time because of how decrepit I was, but because I had a revelation of grace, that God could look past all the crap that I had done, and what a mess I had made of things, and was willing to give me another chance. And since then, He's given me countless other chances. And it's one of my favorite things to tell people is it doesn't matter that you trip and fall. This Christian walk and this journey that we're on, we are going to trip and fall. It just depends what we're going to do when we trip and fall. That we have to get up. You just need to brush yourself off, or someone needs to come by you, or a bunch of people need to come by you and pick you up and brush you off, to get you a chance to get your bearings again, and then set you back on the path. And God's given me a heart for men and men's ministry because of what all those men did for me on that one day. And I'm truly thankful for God for what He did.